in on those grand finals, on that final game. J-Team, the winners of the previous game, get themselves a pretty safe stop. They do seem to drop around City of Tang quite a lot, actually. I believe they're a City of Tang. They're a team who, that seems to be their comfortable drop spot on Holoroth. Typically, no one else really seems to drop there, though. So J-Team normally quite uncontested on their early loots. We are cutting over to Bowder now, who's got himself in a fight with GS. You're already seeing those Fireflies coming in as the Kada ult's ripping through the health bars. Moon's going to pop the healing. It's going a little bit low. They're zipping healing, keeping him up for just a little bit longer. They're holding fast. They're able to turn it around and getting heavily caught out here. They're desperately trying to get away with the grapple, but they've been caught out as Bowder able to take down GS. Absolutely brilliant start for them. Bowder, a team I've been very critical of. Really coming into their own as Lue actually able to take out two, gets the bot back onto two with the pulse sword. Can he get the 1 versus 3? He's taken 2 out. No way has he done this. GS, as soon as Bowder get a compliment, it just goes so wrong so fast. 1 versus 3. Lue able to win that fight.
Oh, weapon identity. Takeda ultimate with full sword. It's just, oh, it's so mean. It's so brutal. And this early on in the game, when you just don't have the armor to be able to sustain through those chunky hits, there's nothing you can really do about it except eat the damage. As it is now going to be XCG using a Viper ultimate TE. TXJ looking for this lockdown at the moment onto these members. Li Changhan gets caught out by the stun. TXJ trying to find an opening at the moment, looking for that push up onto the cliff to be able to scale into the rush. Pushing onto Li Changhan, who again is incredibly low. Takeda just trying to lock him down. TE using 2 of their players to keep Li Changhan isolated away from his team. Standard TE play, but it leaves VVV behind. He gets caught by the Viper ultimate, and he gets taken down. XCG with that longsword doing such a good job of controlling the spacing in this fight, but now he's up against 2 members of TE, and they just plaster him into that stagger lockdown as XCG very quickly loses Zhao Nan. And because not enough time has passed, TE will be able to get the revive without burning into that Soul Altar revive. As OUG and JJH now decide to go toe-to-toe. Water goes down incredibly low so far that he actually falls before O0 and has to go straight back to that Soul Altar as GG are not allowing this fight to finish. They come in for the third party. 3-3-0, catching Xinyu in the charged up staff, locking the player down. There's so much damage. Isn't able to find the kill, however, has to use that Z-Ping bubble to be able to sustain and come back in rubber banding with that aggression, collapsing onto Xinyu, who just was not ready for the follow-up horizontal off of that grapple. As JJH take the distraction that's been handed to them. A little bit of a get-out-of-jail-free card, or maybe it's just temporary, as GG revoke survival privileges and come straight back for the members of JJH. Water has been able to escape, but Godly is still locked down. GG just go for 3 players that are actually wanting to send LXM and Miskia to deal with Godly as their third chases down Water, but it's actually stolen away from them. Ventus ZU going to be able to pick up that third party as GG just immediately put themselves onto Frozen Lake, be in a better position out in the open, as well as getting to ring that bell, knowing that there are other teams in the area that kill got stolen away once, and they don't want to go into a situation where that down ultimate when the third party comes through. As here it is, Ventus's Sanzi moving forward. The Bane's Rep, however, dropped from Alliance to lock this team straight down. And Sanzi just not able to find the kills just yet. The Spear getting a lot of displacement, however, with the Crescent overhead slam, pushing onto these members of Alliance, but Sanzi not able to find the kill, not able to find what he needs, as it's going to be such a good meter dump coming out from the members of Alliance. Sanzi still just not able to lock anyone down with the Spear long enough to secure a pick, as Alliance do such a good job of peeling for anyone that he tried to focus down. As GD now wait in the wings, the Bane's Rep about to run out. Alliance significantly behind in terms of ultimates. They're just going to use the last couple of moments of the Bane's Rep to reposition so they don't get caught in GD's crosshairs.
Yeah, Lion's quite happy to move away from this one. I'm loving this meta at the moment. The kind of like the trifecta of Yoto, Takeda, and Akos just being these like hyper carries, Very, very aggressive comps. Super, super fun to watch. It does feel like that that trifecta does lean a little bit in favor of Takeda at the moment. Teams definitely are preferring that. I think the kind of massive amount of cluster damage you can get with the staggers, it's very effective. But there is still that kind of those 3 heroes you can kind of pick and vary your comps around with. Pubi, what are your thoughts on Akos now that he's kind of joined into the meta? Do you think like he's nerf worthy, or do you think, you know, the meta's just in a good spot and he's a very strong hero?
So I definitely think Akos is like really good current patch. I know they're planning to nerf him pretty soon, and we're going to see even more of a swap to the Takeda comps. But like as you can see, it's pretty much the favored pick of Takeda versus Akos, but he's really good. Like he's current patch, he's extremely strong, and you even see that in solos as well.
What do you think the kind of decision making is on, you know, when would you rather run a Takeda over an Akos or a Yoto? Is it purely just a hero point thing, or, you know, do you think there's like certain setups for teams where they feel more comfortable running one over the other?
I think it's going to be the confidence in the Akos player. You know, although he's like really good, there is, you know, versus just throwing out a wave of just like the demon versus, you know, actually locking down someone with his tech. Some of the Akos tech that you have with the jump cancels and the jump LMB reset.
All right, well, it feels like the action hasn't ended at all, as J-Team are keeping the aggression up here onto JL. They're looking for One Fang here, able to get a whole bunch of damage over the shoulder. He goes. ZK got a bunch of damage off there, is now waiting just to get that ultimate back up, has got it up and available, so gonna keep the pressure up here on to JL, who are on the run from J-Team. J-Team, with that Bane's Breath, feel comfortable just to control this whole area. And it just looks like it's not going to be enough for JL to stick around. J-Team unable to find any kills off the back of that one. And so far, unable to find any kills at all. It's been a much slower game for them. And weirdly, that, you know, they're playing a more aggressive team than they were last game. But
I mean, they have forced out that Akos ultimate, however, as JL's AS having to use those strikes before it runs out in its entirety. And that is all that JL are going to be able to do. Push on to J-Team, force them to spend a little bit of time. When we saw the Wu Chen TP come through, it's so easy now to track on this patch where that Wu Chen has gone. That is really smart play coming through from JL, just to push a little bit more aggressively, using those last couple of seconds of the Akos into burning the shields onto J-Team, forcing them to wait and actually look for the reshield, as opposed to being able to immediately chase down where the Wu Chen has teleported JL to, allowing them a window to actually be able to use that Wu Chen TP to fully reposition and make it a lot harder for J-Team to figure out where they've gone to. As we head towards Salvation Podium, EWG locked in the inside of those caverns, as JJH's Godly not able to find the picks that he's looking for with this monk, but has been able to zone a majority of the players out. EWG's Tutic actually grabbed up from the high ground, not slammed in time for Godly to actually be able to pick up the damage before the ultimate is out. We're currently in the middle of a meteor storm as well, so those players going into those purple orbs are able to buy a little bit more ultimate charges. Another Akos now comes on through, Water putting so much damage and knockback onto all of the players that he connects onto. Yiran gets caught in the middle of that Temi ultimate, the wind wall doing its job, locking him in position, as it's going to be EWG having to reposition. The problem for them is that they have absolutely no space to be able to play with. They're going straight into that zone tick, but it's apparently a better position than the one they were previously in. They opt into taking that zone tick, so they're away from all of the fight going on around them to be able to just look for that reset, look for that heal, and come in for that potential third party, as TE are looking to do the exact same at the moment. They've got control of the high ground, but OUG able to push back onto the members of EWG before they're able to find the full reset. Will be able to take them down, and now we're going to see OUG potentially chase Water down at the same time as well, as he's just having to go on the run, hoping that he's able to push far enough away from OUG, maybe bait them into walking into another team, but he gets locked down and there is no one inside on the minimap. A Gate of Yang not actually going to be taken by either of these players, as there it is. Water goes incredibly low, the horizontal from the longsword chunking him down, as OUG will finally be able to finish him off. But that Vermilion Bird's Might still going to be online for a lot longer, so OUG can immediately get back to aggressing onto those players sitting around Salvation Podium, as they'd only actually had 2 players chasing that one straggler from JJH Town. Their third was playing scouting to see whether or not there was a team they could immediately turn on to.
Well, we're going to go into a cheeky replay here of GG taking on WBG. Lovely little counter actually landed onto Miskir, but just get the last charge of the ult off, and the vertical strikes from that longsword chipping away at WBG's armor little by little as LXM goes very low. Does look like GG have a very comfortable position right now. Just so many charge clicks coming in from those vertical strikes on the longsword from Miskir. And yeah, unfortunately for WBG, things continue to be a little bit rough as they find themselves actually in a fight here versus XCG Jing. It's going to get himself very low, pinned against the wall by Xiaonan with the nunchucks. The Z-Ping healing, though, does come in and keep him alive. Counter comes down. Great charge of the ultimate actually onto Jing to make sure he doesn't get the follow-up damage, but it's countered again. Back to back. XCG find themselves the kill onto Jing. They're going to keep the pressure up onto PP, the last one standing. I don't think he's going to be able to get a Soul Bloom. I think he may just be going down, unfortunately, but they are keeping the chase up onto him. PP desperately trying to use those grapples to get away, and luckily for him, EWG have actually gone in on the chase to GG. So that's like, sorry, XCG, so WBG will be able to get away. The problem for PP, though, is he's got 2 minutes to find a kill, or at least a Soul Bloom, and I don't think he's going to be able to do that. Cutting now down over to the far north as JL have got themselves in a fight here versus Bowder. Instantly blinking out with that Wu Shen. Fight was not good for them. They don't want to take it, so they are just going to move away to safety as JL just going on the run.
I mean, they could rubber band back in, given the fact that they did actually force that Temi ultimate out from the team that they were fighting, and that is the one thing that that composition is worried about doing, being locked down, especially if you have your Akos just coming in, wanting to lock those players down with crowd control. You don't want the other team that you're facing to be able to potentially isolate the target and separate any pure to come through from that Akos being able to knock those players down on connection. As J team, a little bit of a slower game, still not finding the kills that we'd seen in the past, still currently sitting on a duck egg at the moment, looking for any opportunity where they're going to be able to have the upper hand. ZK trying to push onto these members. Ooh, EWG breathing incredibly long breaths. Sighs of relief comes through as J-Team grapple directly overhead of the building that he is hanging from. As it's Alliance that J-Team want to be able to try to track down, when trying to make sure that he's not too far behind his teammates. They do have that Temi, so if he does get caught, they will be able to throw something like that Wisp or the ultimate out to be able to make sure that J-Team aren't able to isolate a player to an immediate numbers advantage. As second Gate of Yangs are going to be spawning. We'd seen teams in the past actually go for the Gate of Yang fights. Whether or not they're going to be that confident, that aggressive this time around, we're going to get to see. But what we do know is that those codes on the right-hand side of your screen, they're one-time use only. So be very, very quick, lock them into Steam, and you'll be able to pick yourself up a free copy of the game to join us on the Isle as soon as possible.
Yes, right now, probably going to be timing out on their thing. Actually, they found Jing, the final player for WBG. That they have 38 seconds. If they can get the kill onto Jing in 38 seconds, they are going to be sitting so pretty. They've got 30 seconds left. This is going to be so tight. Jing, he just doesn't want to give it to them. He's on the run. He's just going to try and go down to the zone. But the problem is even so, he may be able to get away. Can he, though? Desperately trying not to let GS out of this game. The rest of the team are chasing them down. He gets caught midair. It's going to be close. It's going to be tight. He gets caught in the nick of time. 8 seconds left. They're going to be able to get one player up. But the problem is they've now got to run back through the zone and get out. The rest of the team will be going down, unfortunately. GS, they do keep themselves alive a little bit longer. But Xiaohu, they have a bit of a way to go now. Have got themselves the health, though, to keep themselves going. And the pots.
They've got the coins, too. They can afford rebirth.
Oh, they do.
15,000. Like, this is what GS did. They were actually really smart. They chose one player who would pick up the Soul Bloom. All of them dropped their coins. so that now your Wu Chen can just go straight to a dealer and pick up the rebuff charms and get his way into a soul altar. And it's the perfect time to do it because the second gate of Yangs are spawning up right now, so all of the teams who go into it are going to be off of the map, not actually playing around those soul altars. And all of the teams that decide to opt out of the gate of Yang, they're going to be hiding away in case they run into a team who do have buffs.
Yeah. Well, we're at a point now where, you know, we're in the mid game. Obviously a very different style of game to what we had in our previous game. So Pubi, at this point in the game, you're not on monk comps. It's a very different style. What are your goals? What are you aiming to do around 15 minutes till final circle?
As weird as it sounds, pretty much the same thing. It's notice how many kills you have and decide whether or not you know, you want to pick up the pace, play a little bit more aggressive. But as I said, typically in these types of end zones, the kills will come to you. You don't want to, overcommit, be that catalyst for a really bad fight or get third party. So just let the kills come, position yourself in a pretty good way as you lead into the end zone, the final zone.
Oof, talking about positioning in a good way. It is very lucky that GS had actually dropped all of their coins and selected the Wu Chen as their sole survivor because he's able to TP out of that focus fire that came out from Bauda to be able to make sure he's able to escape that focus and make his way to a soul altar, as it's going to be J-Team putting themselves into a Morris Blessing and picking up a Draco Storm, as unfortunately they don't get to pick and choose. They just get allocated a buff and they have to deal with it. And Draco Storm, as weird as it sounds, like in the past, like last year, if we were sitting here, we'd say, oh yeah, Draco Storm is the one everybody wants. Now it's like the worst.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we're just in shopping phase now. I think for some of these teams, they just want to grab as many soul jades as they can. As it does look like HCG have actually found alliance here. Xiaonan getting himself a little bit opened up on two guns to count onto Jean, takes away all of his shield. Is a blueberry, so he's a little bit easier to kind of pick up it there at this point as Xiaonan slowly but surely going low. They blink out. Alliance, they know where they are, but I think the health bars are too low on both sides. Actually, XCG just take a quick moment to kind of reposition and chase in to Alliance and see if they can find these kills onto them. Question is are they going to be able to do so? As you can see the scoreboard on the side of the screen right now, J-Team have been overtaken once again by TE, who have 4 kills this game. J-Team kind of falling into J-Team fashion of having like good games and having games where they do nothing. Like just absolutely nothing. GG though is a great bounce back from them, a great resurgence. They got 7 kills under their belt. They're sitting quite pretty. Unfortunately, GD did get eliminated just a second ago as well, so they have been taken out of the game. As we do now see GG finding himself in a fight versus J-Team. Miskate has been caught up. ZK's already gone down. 1-on-1 TN, low HP. I don't think he's going to be able to survive this one, unfortunately, as it's just GG keeping the pressure up onto them. J-Team lose 1-on-1 TN. Only one player left, and that's Eagle, who's being wailed on by 3-3-0. In comes Ventus with a third party, though, to see if they can turn it around. J-Team's Eagle comes in with an nunchucks, gets a whole bunch of damage down, but he is out. Ventus stealing away the kill with the third party and knocking J-Team out of the lobby.
GG are really starting to pick up steam, however. Of all of the teams for the second gate of Yang, GG are the ones that actually contest it. No one else steps foot into it, so they're able to pick it up for free. And if you actually saw, they have 2 legendary weapons at the moment, and that is looking absolutely terrifying for being able to control that final zone. We did actually see Alliance still surviving, despite having used that Temi ultimate early when they were running up against their pursuers a couple of fights prior. Very smart from them. They actually chase towards the ult zone, pop it, so that the Viper ultimate isn't actually available. And no one decides to actually make that move. So the Temi ultimate will be back online for Alliance to be able to huddle around in case that Viper ultimate does try to come through and stun someone out. And Bauda are going to be looking for just a little bit of downtime. 1 legendary weapon. Still needing a little bit of better armor, however, to be able to scale up into the coming fights. As 1 legendary weapon, pretty good, but 2 blue armors this late in the game. Not looking great. Line TT at least going to be on the Temi, so if you can get your way into a Morris Blessing, you can just drop the ultimate and immediately make off with the loot. But it's going to be an incredibly tough task to not run into another team that has the exact same idea. A team like potentially TE, who's in a very similar situation. 1 purple armor onto their Viper, funneled over very similar to the way that we see Monks and Takeda's being funneled the better armor so that you're going to be able to survive the full duration of the charge up on your ultimate, and you don't go down in the focus fire that comes through when you're shooting a signal flare up into the sky and announcing where exactly you're playing from.
It's getting to that 10-minute mark. 27 players left in the game. 9 teams left. It's a bit of a waiting game. GG doing a bit of shopping before this, before they're forced to move out. I've seen a couple of repeating crossbow shots coming in from EWG on that high ground. Just get a little bit of damage off, and another meteor shower, actually. We've had 2 of them this game spawning up, so it does mean, like I said, those rage bars can be somewhat filled up if they want them to be. GG, they've got all their ultimates. They're pretty comfortable. Pretty chill grabbing what they got. Just going to try and play that repositioning game. Roma Yang is going to be spawning up soon. We'll see if GG want to jump back into another one. They did take the previous one. See if they can do it again. See if they want to do it again. Still got a bit of time left on the on that meteor shower coming down. GG definitely set up in the optimal position on this gate. So the question is who's going to get their hands on it? Who's going to be going in? There's a bunch of teams all contesting for this Roma Yang. As the gate's going to be opening up. It actually seems to be a bit of a ways away from GG. Sandstorm comes up. Oh, it was actually a Mora's Blessing. I'm an idiot. I'm an absolute idiot. There we go. EWG get the Mora's Blessing, using the Sandstorm to get it. I promise I'm awake.
Oh, it was a good one too. It was one that EWG needed. Tell me ultimate for legendary armor, but it's Blood Rippers. Not the legendary weapon that you perhaps want. But I mean, for Takeda, especially being able to control that final zone, the way we talked about, you know, Takeda ultimate, if you have a Blood Ripper and you're playing on the low ground, not a lot of teams want to run into you. The problem is, if we do see that final zone collapse onto verticality, a lot of players are just going to be able to play a bucket head.
Yeah, that was just some serious copium, bro. Like, no one wants a Blood Ripper. That's...
Okay, shush. If you're a monk, you can at least use it for legendary scaling into your ultimate. But yeah, it's the worst weapon you could possibly afford.
What could they do to Blood Ripper to make it a good weapon?
Give it range.
Give it range. What?
No.
How would you give that weapon range?
No.
Just like rev the engine up and just fire the arrowhead. Like, at its front.
It's like a zombie apocalypse weapon, that sounds like. This is now, unfortunately, the end of J Team in this lobby. GG, though. A much-needed game for them. Honestly, they've been playing super, super well. Taking out 101 TN. Eagle was next to Paul as well as he was hunted down. But it was Ventus who stole this kill away, so... I guess GG were at least denied 1 kill. Eagle tried his damnedest. He tried his hardest. But honestly, it's been a very quiet game from J Team. And that is... very typical of J Team. They're a team who either pop off or do absolutely nothing, and it was a nothing game from them. So good start to the day. They can't play like that for the rest of the day, though. They need to keep their game 1 performances up if they want to take the title.
TE, right? TE are still standing. They are so close in terms of leaderboard as well between TE and J Team. And if TE have a pop-off like game when J Team have been knocked out of the lobby incredibly early, but also with very little kills to their belt, TE are going to be able to widen that distance. And off of this game alone, J Team may lose the title.
The title they've never had. They're the world champions, but they've never had a domestic title. So this is a very important game for them. A very important day for them. They really want to take one of those home. Because it's all well and good being the world champions, but like it's a bit of a joke when there's now been 2 tournaments domestically and you've won neither of them. So if they can get this 3rd one under their belt, then at that point they really do make a statement for how strong of a team they are and how they really are the best team in the scene. As CE are going to get their hands onto a much better setup with the golden Flamebringer and the golden armor. Going to give TXJ, as you normally do, giving your Viper the golden armor means they can jump into the midst of everybody and survive just a little bit better. And that was just a freebie, to be honest, for TE. They just walked up and grabbed it. They had no real threat on it at all.
Yeah, I mean, they did put down the precautionary wind walls from the Wu Chen. But I mean, T is looking absolutely terrifying because not only did they walk up and grab it, they've also got repair roll. So that Viper ultimate uptime is going to be absolutely insane. And when you look at this final zone, there's a lot of high ground for those Vipers to be able to climb up and drop down from with that ultimate, catching onto as many people as possible with as little time of revealing yourself as possible. As EWG just going to be using this building. I can hear the Blood Rippers. The rattle is somewhere. Someone's using them. They haven't just been dropped in the corner of a map for some obscurity. There they are. And there they go again. EWG are like, do we use them? Maybe we don't. Maybe we put them down. Maybe they're just like looking at the shiny.
That is not a shiny you want to be looking at. That's sadness. It's just, oh well.
But they're doing the best with what they've got. Okay, picking a building, making sure that they have the Blood Rippers on full show, so if a team tries to come into that building, they run straight into the Blood Rippers. Very similar to the Cavalry Blimp threat that we see from teams. If you don't have Cavalry Blimp, make do with the second best, which feels like an absolute joke given that Cavalry Blimp is purple and Blood Rippers are a legendary weapon. But hey ho, Cavalry Blimp is goated. Oh, there it is.
It is. Oh, yeah.
I've summoned it into existence. Of course, Miski's got it with legendary dual blades.
You just wanted it. Xiaonan actually really kind of failing that stun. I say that. Malman gets stunned and OUG secure the kill onto them. See another Viper stun off in the distance there coming out from One Fang. Able to lock down some of the members of Ventus. Meteor's also raining down as well, building up those rates for everybody involved. Wimble's coming out and Zone has stopped moving just for the second, but will be picking up again fairly soon. The teams are playing this game with very little terrain to hide behind, so it's kind of all coming down to those ranged weapons and getting as much damage off as possible. VVV with the Golden Flamer putting as much damage into these teams as they can in the surrounding area, desperately spraying that fire down. Wu Shen ultimate comes out from JL to reposition away from all of the action. As you can see, OUG trying to contest JL on top of this pillar, trying to get control of the area, unable to really do so. I say that as SS jumps in, finishes up AS. Just hyper aggressive on the Takeda. Still has another charge there from that ultimate. OUG is going to head back into their sandstorm. Caught out by the Wisps. That is not what they need. Ventus find one. Should be able to find the second one as well. TE actually taking away that kill as Ventus do get it. OUG knocked out. TE up to 6 kills, but GG still sitting on that 11 at this point. Ventus have pulled it back to 4, but they've lost their Z-Ping, so they don't have to sustain. Sandstorm's coming out once again in the same area. This kid is going using that longsword, trying to just get some control of the area. Those vertical slashes coming out. Holding on. 2 minutes 45 now until this game comes to a full-on close. There's a flamer coming out from VVV, trying to just control the area. Everybody's using the pillar as a place to hide, but it's just everybody's there, so they're all getting chunked out. Zone is going to slowly but surely look to go in for the move. JL still trying to hold this high ground, but GG doing their best to force One Fang off. GG have a nice place where they can go for the respite. In comes TXJ with the Viper lockdown onto multiple people, able to catch onto Zhuan. Zorn does get himself the counter though, but he will go down just before that. At the end of the day, he is knocked out as VVV now. Trying to see if he can find the lineup on that Takeda. Got one more charge from that ultimate. Ventus and Alliance fighting for the final bit on that pillar. Still 16 players left in this lobby. It is an absolute cluster. Health bars are blinking across the board as 3-3-0 with a musket able to find the kill onto Ventus' Ziyu, finishing them up nice and simple as VVV is being jumped onto. In comes TXJ though with a katana to save VVV's life and keep him alive, and Lin gets countered. Lin able to pick his weapon up, and his armor's low. He's just a blueberry at this point. He's not got the health to work with. The flamers coming out from VVV, desperately trying to put the last little bits of damage in before this weapon fully rolls out for him. Is going a little bit low on that front as Sanshi getting himself jumped onto by TET, still holding into this game for the moment though. T with 9 kills, looking to catch up to GG, who are still just down to that one player. 3-3-0, holding on in this game. In comes One Thing. This is going to be a monster stun. Only catches onto 3 members. Tutik is going to be the one who gets his health bar stripped away by Jail's One Fang. Is now TXJ. He's going to answer out with his own Viper stun. Jalue, low HP, but is not going to be turned onto here from the back of that stun. TXJ, he's the one in the zone. Box back, take a lot of zone tick damage as he's getting himself back in, but once again juggled out. 3-3-0 with the spear, with the staff, sorry, doing so much work, keeping so much zone control, but he goes down. EWG able to finish him up. TXJ now seeing if he can find the extra little bit of kills, chasing on GG. They are set up to win this game, but Miss Kia is holding on. He's trying to keep this game going, finally goes down. And it's all on the side of TE to close this game out. Alliance is lucky, toasted in the zone.